Greetings gastronauts, this is KeefCooks, I'm Keef, and today we're going on holiday, we're going to Greece. I'm going to do chicken gyros, tzatziki and pita bread. This was requested by Bronson2K19, and thank you for reminding me that I do need to do this. Gyro, very hard to say. I probably didn't do it right. Basically, it looks like gyro, and in Greek it means to spin on a vertical skewer on a rotisserie thing. So it gyrates, basically, goes round in a circle. And so I'm going to try and emulate that, except I don't have a vertical rotisserie, so it could be a challenge. And I think this dish is kind of like a cross between a Middle Eastern shawarma and a Turkish or a German doner kebab, and possibly only invented in like the 60s. So you know, not the thing that your ancient Greeks would have been familiar with, but nevertheless a delicious thing. And the tzatziki and pita bread will be magnificent as well. So I'm really looking forward to this one. If you enjoy this video, give it a like, share, subscribe, etc. And without further ado, gyros! Let's get cooking them gyros. Right, first thing we need to do is marinate the chicken. You need a tablespoon of ground coriander, a teaspoon of smoked paprika, a teaspoon of red chili powder, a small clove of garlic crushed. So we'll pop those in a bowl. We also need a tablespoon of dried thyme and the zest of a lemon and the juice of half a lemon and 60 ml of EVU extra virgin olive oil. Also a bit of salt and a bit of pepper. And mixy. Now I need to prepare my chicken. Right, I've got 1 kilo of chicken thighs with skin on and bone in, so I need to remove the skin and bone. You want to try and get the meat off in one piece, so don't hack it too much. Actually, wrong knife. Okay, the good old boning knife, link below if you want to buy one. So cut around the bone as close to it as you can. Then stick it in the marinade. And make sure it gets coated all over. Otherwise, there's no point putting it in the marinade. Okay, I'm going to stop there because I reckon that is enough. So I've got 2 chicken thighs left over, which we will enjoy on another occasion. So I'll wrap those up, I'll wrap that up and make it into stock at some point. And that just needs to marinate away for 2 hours, possibly longer if you can manage it. Now I'm going to make the dough for the pita bread. So I've got 375 grams of plain all-purpose flour, got a tablespoon of sugar, tablespoon of salt, and a tablespoon of active dried yeast. Then I've got 250 ml of lukewarm water, which should be around about 40 degrees. I think it was when I started, but you know, it's cooled down a little bit. So I'll just quickly mix that dry stuff together. Then we'll add the water and let that mix and sort of knead for about 10 minutes. Right, I messed it up slightly. There should have been a tablespoon of EVU in there and only a teaspoon of salt, not a tablespoon. So this might turn out quite salty. It needs to be covered with plastic film or a damp, clean towel and put in a warm place for, well, maybe 45 minutes, maybe longer, until it's doubled in volume. Now I'm going to make the tzatziki sauce. A lot of people can't say that, but I can. So you need 1 cucumber and 300 grams of Greek-style strained thick yogurt, a teensy-weensy clove of garlic, a pinch of salt, a grind of black pepper, and optionally some dill, and 3 tablespoons of white wine vinegar. You will notice it says cider vinegar on there because I've actually run out of white wine vinegar. This never happens. I never run out of vinegar. It's there forever. Anyway, right. We need to peel the cucumber. There we go. 1 naked cucumber into the compost with these. Now we need to grate the cuke into a bowl. As you probably know, cucumbers are mostly water. So for tzatziki, you don't want soggy cucumber. And what we're doing now is getting rid of the moisture. So just slam that in a bowl with 1 tablespoon of white wine vinegar. And a pinch of salt, which will draw the moisture out. So just set that aside, leave it for a few minutes. I'm just going to splat this bit of garlic. I could use the mincing machine, but I think it'd just get lost, disappear without trace. So pop that in a bowl with the yogurt. So this is a 500 gram pot. I need 300 grams, so that's about like that. 2 tablespoons of white wine vinegar and 3 tablespoons of EVOO, and just mix that all together till it's nice and creamy. Now we need to add the cucumber. The cucumber has turned into soup. So we need to strain that through a muslin cloth or just your hands if you don't mind getting all claggy. So I've got some muslin cloth, I've got a sieve thing just to hold it, and I've got a bowl. So dump the cucumber soup into that. And give it a good old squeeze. Look at that, all that water, it's incredible. It really is phenomenal. So, do that. And stir that in. And finally, if you're using dill, just chop it and hurl it in. Give that a good stir, and then set it aside. That is done. Oh, actually, I should give it a taste, just in case it's horrible. Wow. That's not horrible. No, it's fantastic. That is probably the best tzatziki I've ever had. Okay, we're going to cook the gyro, and we're going to do it in the oven. So you want it preheating to 180 degrees Celsius for a fan oven and convection oven, 200 for a conventional one, and gas, can't remember, on the screen. So, unless you've got a vertical rotisserie, in which case you're laughing. So I've got a potato, which is going to be our foundation. Oh, look at that. I've been getting some really rubbish potatoes recently. Don't know why. Well, I do. A couple of skewers. And then start threading your marinated chicken. Kind of like that, and just change the angle as you go. I think this might turn out to be a bit fabulous. You don't always have to do this with chicken. In fact, pork is more usual in Greece. So I'll put that in the oven for about 20 minutes, then I'm going to check the temperature. The internal temperature would need to be about 65 Celsius. I just cut the ends off the skewers so it'll actually fit in the oven, and in we go. Right, I completely forgot about my dough. So it has risen. Oh boy, has it risen. Look at that. Seems a shame to let it down. Anyway, you have to. Oh, and it smells all yeasty and wonderful. Flour on your worktop. What about a flour? Now we need to knock this back and divide it into 8 equal pieces. So form each one into a nice smooth ball, then roll it out into a disc, 15 centimeters, 6 inches-ish. And pop them onto some baking sheets lined with greaseproof paper. Cover with clean tea towels and leave for about 30 minutes. Alright, chickens actually had half an hour, so I'm going to take it out and see how we're doing. Well, and let's see what we got temperature wise. 56. Well, I'm going to give it another 10 minutes, I think. And we'll just let that rest while I do the pita breads. So I've got my cast iron griddle plate heating up, and it wants to be really hot. No oil, just heat. And, you know, something like 300 degrees Celsius is what we're aiming for. We'll take a piece of pita dough and plop it on. And cook it on one side for 30 seconds, then turn it over and leave it for 2 or 3 minutes, and it should puff up into a sphere, in theory. I have a confession to make. That pita bread that I just cooked there, that was my second batch, because the first batch just didn't rise, didn't puff up into a ball, so we didn't get a pocket happening. And that first batch, I only proved it for 30 minutes. The second one, I proved it for 90 minutes, so that's probably what you should do, because that worked perfectly. Here's me little, my little mini, what is it? A gyro. Right, so we'll just open one of these pitas up, and yeah, you know, if that had puffed up properly, you'd have a nice pocket that you could put all the stuff in. We'll just cheat a little bit and grab some tzatziki and some leaves and some tomatoes, red onion, some of this extremely tasty chicken. Right, there we go. Yum yum. Wow. Yep, that's it. I'm on holiday. Bit of bread and tzatziki, all marvellous and all very well worth doing. So give it a go. And thanks for watching, and see you next time.